Hi, it's Bud Wilkinson. Welcome to Ride Connecticut. Growing up in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, it was common for families to identify with car brands. I grew up in an Oldsmobile family. We had a 62 Cutlass, a 64 Cutlass, a 66 Cutlass. Well, there's a guy nearby in Thomaston who has 11 classic Pontiacs. His favorite isn't the flashiest, but it is the most colorful. His reason for loving Pontiacs is simple.
I became a Pontiac person because my mother had a 1970 Catalina two-door, and I liked the car. And there was a Pontiac dealer in Thomaston that I used to go look at all the new cars when they'd come in.
Jimmy Bothroyd of Thomaston, Connecticut, has a Pontiac obsession. He owns nearly a dozen classic Pontiacs in all shapes and colors.
You know, if I could work a deal, I'll work a deal. Plus, I got a couple good friends that are into Pontiacs, and we swap stuff back and forth sometimes.
His favorite Pontiac is a bright yellow six-passenger 1972 LeMans station wagon.
It's just different. It's something you don't see every day anymore. I get a lot of comments on it, and a lot of people talk about the back seat, the third row, because you face out the tailgate.
There's also a dark green 1971 GTO.
The 71 GTO, when I purchased it, had bullet holes in the door and the quarter panel, and I left the one bullet hole in the back panel on the back seat just because it's the history of the car. It's got a 455 HO motor and a Muncie M22 transmission. There was only 476 made that year with that motor and drivetrain. I bought that car 30 years ago, and I restored it once, and I had it for a while, and I sold it, and it took 2 years to buy it back. I bought the car back, drove it for a little bit, and then restored it again into its current condition.
A white 1977 Can-Am has sentimental value.
There was only 1,100 made that year. It's got the drivetrain from a Trans Am and the interior from a Grand Prix, and it was my best friend Danny's car, and he got sick, and I helped him finish it, and he passed away, and his daughter offered it to me for sale, and I jumped on it because he was such a good friend, and it's a little part of him.
Half of Bothroyd's Pontiac collection consists of Firebirds and Trans Ams. His most recent model is a red 2002 Trans Am.
We bought it on December 23rd, 2002, because they stopped making them, and I was hesitant on buying one, and my wife Bridget pushed me to buy it, and I'm so glad I did. It's got 20,000 miles on it, and I enjoy the hell out of it.
A yellow 1978 Firebird Formula and a 1964 Bonneville convertible completed the portion of the collection that Bothroyd brought out the day that Ride Connecticut visited last September. What makes the Bonneville stand out is its black over silver paint scheme that's copied on the car's interior.
The way this car is painted, the stripe continues down the fender into the door, through the door jamb, and then into the interior and up into the other door jamb, and it's also right here, and then it continues on, so it's continuous.
It was watching the Rockford Files on TV and seeing the movie Smokey and the Bandit that got him hooked on Firebirds and Trans Ams, and he still has one model that he'd like to create.
I'm looking for a car I can make into a clone of Jim Rockford's car, and I just always been hooked, and then Smokey and the Bandit came out, and you know, it just snowballed from there, and I had my first Trans Am in high school, and it's just my brand. I just love that body style. Second generation Firebirds are what I like.
That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson. And don't forget, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Ride Connecticut's YouTube channel.